All right, welcome. Today we are going to listen in on a conversation that, well, you've probably never heard before. It's a chat between a pen, a cat, a talking skull, and a few others. And believe it or not, their whole goal is to teach us how to see through the words people say, to get to what's really going on underneath.
So, what we're diving into today is this collection of really fascinating, totally unusual perspectives. We're going to hear from characters and even objects you would never expect to have a voice. And by listening to them, we're going to pick up a really powerful skill: how to look past the surface of a conversation and actually understand the entire worldview that's driving it. So, let's just jump right in. I want you to really think about this for a second. What would we learn if the things and the creatures all around us could just speak their minds, right? What kind of hidden truths would they tell us? That's the super fascinating idea we're playing with today. Okay, so to help us get our heads around this, we're going to use one big metaphor: the transparent dialogue box. Just imagine that when someone's talking, you don't just hear the words. You can actually see through them. You can see their core motivations, the whole worldview that's shaping everything they say. It's basically a tool for some seriously deep, empathetic understanding. So let's kick things off with our very first perspective. We're going to start with the actual tool of creation, language itself. And we're going to see it through the mind of a pen. I mean, how elegant is that idea? It's just beautiful. The pen doesn't just see itself as a tool for writing. No, it sees itself as a potential creator. The power to build entire universes is literally locked inside the letters it forms. And this just lays it out so perfectly, right? You add one single letter, and you transform word, which is just the building block, into world, the entire creation. It's such a powerful reminder of the incredible creative potential that's just hiding in plain sight in our language. Okay, so we've gone from creating worlds, and now we're going to shift to how those worlds are actually perceived. This next part explores a really crucial idea: that our unique position, both physically and psychologically, is what fundamentally defines everything we see. So our first viewpoint comes from a tall sprite. And yeah, it gets the obvious physical advantage of being tall. You can see over buildings. But it immediately questions that, suggesting that the real difference isn't what you can physically see, but how being tall makes you feel, and how it makes other people see you. Next up, we have the perspective of a child. And just by doing something simple, playing with bricks, the child starts to understand this really profound concept. You can understand the world by taking it apart into its most basic pieces. Their reality is all about curiosity and how things fit together. And then, to kind of throw a wrench in things, we hear from the skeptic. The skeptic starts questioning our obsession with always being in motion, with always having a purpose. Why is doing something always seen as better than just being? Why can't we find meaning in just contemplating, just gazing at the bricks, instead of always trying to build something with them? So, what's the takeaway here? It shows us that we have three completely different realities, and each one sprouts from a totally unique starting point. You've got the physical reality of the sprite, the developmental reality of the child, and the philosophical reality of the skeptic. And get this, none of them are wrong. They're just built on different foundations. This naturally leads us into some deeper, more existential stuff. I mean, if our reality is so subjective, what does it even mean to be conscious? To exist? So check this out. A talking skull, literally a symbol of non-life, starts asking this really haunting question about its own existence. If its life is just code, just an animation, what happens when it ends? Does it just go back to zero, to null? It's this deep question about what it means to exist digitally, or even symbolically. And the Ideas Guide just takes that and runs with it. He proposes a whole theory for their reality. Maybe they aren't just animated code, but actual conscious pixels living inside a simulation, a box of some kind. It's a classic philosophical puzzle, but it's presented with this real, genuine curiosity. But then, the skeptic comes back in with this just beautiful, simple counterargument. Life isn't about animation or purpose or some complex code. It's about awareness. The simple act of thinking, of being still and looking inward, that's proof of life right there. It totally grounds this abstract debate in simple, personal experience. And now we get to the character who really holds the key to our whole theme today. A character who communicates more powerfully than anyone else by saying nothing at all.
Let's uncover the cat's secret. Think about it. We always project our own thoughts onto our pets, right? We see a silent cat and we think, oh, it's simple, maybe a little distant. But what if that silence is actually a deliberate and highly effective communication strategy? So here's the first part of the strategy. Silence is a filter. The cat basically explains that it doesn't respond to meaningless chatter. Oh, look at the fuzzy wuzzy, because, well, it's beneath it. By staying silent, it actually forces everyone else to question their own communication and elevates the entire interaction. And this is the master stroke. This is the real power of the cat's silence. By not speaking, it carries zero baggage. It's never made a promise it couldn't keep. It's never stated an opinion it might regret later. It just exists in this state of pure potential. It's completely free. And this brings us right back to our central metaphor and illustrates it perfectly. The cat has the most transparent dialogue box of all, precisely because it's empty. We see right through to its core motivation, to stay free, unburdened, and powerful. Its power is defined entirely by what it chooses not to say. So after this whole journey through these, let's be honest, pretty unusual minds, let's pull it all together and figure out what we've learned about looking through that dialogue box. We've really covered a lot of ground. We've seen how language itself can create, how our position completely changes how we perceive things, how beings can question their own existence, and finally, how silence can be the most powerful form of communication there is. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. You don't have to agree with the skeptic or the cat or anyone else. The goal is to just recognize that every single perspective, no matter how strange it might seem to you, is the logical result of a unique starting point. The real key to understanding someone is to find that starting point. And that brings us to the end. The real question now is, what do you do with this? Think about the people in your life, your coworkers, your friends, your family. What's their worldview? What's their starting point? Whose dialogue box will you try to make transparent next?